and step right into it. It's my first reaction ever, so don't expect very much professionality, let's say it like that. Okay. So are you ready, guys? I will pause every time there's something I have to say about it. But holy shit, that video is 38 minutes. And yeah, I have a lot to say there because I was a professional, definitely not, but yeah, I played very much competitive, and Forza Horizon 4 or 3 were my childhood. And I also didn't like Forza Horizon 5, but more of the reasons that they removed ranked and not the points he's doing there here. Well, let's step right into it and see what it is.
This video was sponsored by Squarespace. What if real life were just a little more convenient? What if I could drive my dream car in the most beautiful parts of the world at 300 miles per hour and end up on TikTok instead of Live League? The answer to that question is Forza Horizon,
nice.
an arcade racer that seeks not to do away with reality, but instead to idealize it. And what an idealization Playground have created. 540 cars in tantalizing...
Yeah, that's definitely massive. Like, the car list of the game was always very impressive. The tuning of it, not, but maybe the tuning of the cars never were that big focus of Forza Horizon, and more the driving around.
Fidelity, freedom, and physics refined for a decade that simulate the act of driving in meticulous detail and yet make it impossibly effortless to feel.
I gotta say, I really like the physics of Forza Horizon 5. Also Forza Horizon 4, they didn't really change the physics that much. But yeah, let's just compare them like to Need for Speed Heat. Holy shit, where you buck every second. They are so much better, but obviously they are not perfect. I think it's very hard to get physics perfectly game like BeamNG. BeamNG is crazy in terms of physics. And I don't think an arcade game could ever achieve that because it's literally not the point of the game.
Feel like a badass. In a driving game, that is the most important thing, so how
He's
could I
definitely
possibly hope to convince you this game is bad? I couldn't. I wouldn't. This isn't a negative review of Forza Horizon 5. It's a review about the negatives, because that's what Horizon needs. You could watch a review of Forza Horizon 2 to understand why Forza Horizon 5 is a good game, but Horizon doesn't need another 10 out of 10, or another claim that it is the greatest arcade racer of all time. Horizon needs a spotlight shone on the mistakes it continues to make, that it has started to make, and that continue to keep it from that potential. Good? Yes. Greatest? No. That's not a title befitting of a racer that still hasn't got the racing right. Are you ready? Let's start with what you...
I mean, that point is obviously valid, but yeah, the points he's talking about. No.
You need to know about difficulty. The AI in first place is very fast and very good at avoiding mistakes. Catching up to it tends to be as tough or tougher than taking every other position. Half the time you're struggling.
I wouldn't say that the AI of Forza is very fast. I literally always played at the highest difficulty, and yeah, it's not hard to overtake them.
Struggling with a race, this is the reason why. When you're in first place, however, everything changes. It's easy to keep your lead in Horizon. It's actually easy even to widen it,
That's
which
very
gives me
true.
the impression that previous leaders are debuffed once you've passed them. So, when you don't have first, it's hard to get it, but when you've got it, it's easy to keep it. This is Forza Horizon 5's first place difficulty disparity, and it is big enough to influence the fucking tides. The worst of its effects is the degradation of racing itself. The excitement of a close-fought battle where every position is relevant can exist, but rarely does. More often, only one.
Can we just talk about the effects which came with the update for the you know, Hot Wheels update? Like, what the fuck is this HUD right in your face in the middle of the screen?
One position is relevant, or if taken, none of them are. Being in first place is nice, but it isn't interesting. The race becomes tantamount to a time trial. A further effect of first place disparity is that knowing how important...
Yeah, to be honest, Forza was never a solo game for me. The story is bullshit. and the bots aren't as nice to drive with. Forza Horizon was always a multiplayer game for me, so I can definitely understand these points he's making here.
And it can be to catch the leader puts immense emphasis
It's really
on
not
the
a
first
great
few
single
turns
player
in the
game.
first 60 seconds of the race, because that's when the gaps between places are closest. It can seem to be that your performance in these moments is so disproportionately influential over the final outcome that your performance afterwards feels deflatingly unimpactful. What's worse is that by placing such...
Wait, this is actually something. Nah, I'm gonna upload this on YouTube. It's fine. I was thinking about should I remove the VOD limit here, because I've said it that only subscribers can watch my VODs because of the music I'm using usually. But I'm gonna put this on YouTube definitely. So if someone watches this for later, hello everyone, nice. I'm gonna put this on my YouTube channel for sure.
Much emphasis on those first corners, Horizon equally emphasizes the worst tactics possible for taking positions on corners. Crashing, thanks to how the physics dulls the impact of vehicle collisions and the absence of penalty.
Dude, this guy, can we talk about how badly he's driving? Like, holy shit. I really don't know how much experience he has with the game, but... Monka, dude.
A well-executed slam will always outperform a smoothly taken corner. There's the added bonus.
Yeah, that is quite the issue with the game. Literally, you had it for years in the multiplayer even. That the Forza Horizon enemies you have in multiplayer are just holy shit. They are such toxic players and yeah, crash you into the walls because they know there's not really a penalty for it. That got fixed by a bit, but after that new problems occurred. Like before the patch you were able to do wall rides, which obviously aren't the goal of the game, and so they finally fixed that later in an update. But so when you like try to wall ride, you get a penalty acceleration. And it seemed good for a while till people figured out that if you push others into the walls, they get the penalty acceleration, and that is not good either. So yeah, I'm definitely agreeing to that. You're literally like, if you play the single player, there's no point to go for good lines because you could just crash into the bots. I agree.
Of obliterating your victim too. Skimming checkpoints is something a Horizon driver would believably do, but abusing the physics like this comes at the cost of damaging Horizon's fantasy.
That is
the
true.
simpler solution to catching first would surely be to bring a better car. Well, yeah, of course.
But I definitely don't agree to everything he's saying here. Like, if we come to the later part of the video, it gets hilarious. Wait, holy shit, sorry. I'm muted.
You see, in Horizon, you can bring any car to any event, and the AI will balance themselves accordingly. A little leeway on that is to be expected. If the balance was perfect, then there'd be no such thing as good cars or bad.
Yeah, that's obviously true. You can take whatever car, and they just take and like, for example, you take the Koenigsegg S2 998, then obviously the enemies, the AI will use S2 998 cars. And it's okay by me.
Cars.
Literally.
But there is such a thing as good and bad, which means the consistency of Horizon 5's difficulty rests on being able to tell which will be good and which will be bad.
That is very true, but I gotta say that always gave me that always was fun to me. Like obviously not every car is the same good, and you gotta find out through your tuning and through your training you do. Like there were some kind of train maps. Routes which you could take and then just measure the time you had you had with every car, and yeah, and then you just look what the best times were for the meta and all that. Like that is literally now speaking in the terms of multiplayer. If you want to be the competitive, you obviously have to drive a good car. You could say that's a bad thing, and yes, kinda. Because it limits the amount of cars you can choose, but there came new updates with new cars, so it never was like always this car is the best. There was always new cars to discover, and they suddenly became better. And yeah, well, I like that.
Which is a problem, because for the average player, no such ability exists. Without a PhD in Horizon's metagame, the balancing is unpredictable. There are simply too many cars for you and the AI to choose from, too many ways each of them can be.
Yeah, but that's the nice thing. I really like that. Sorry for my words, my English is not the best, but I'm trying my best because I want to put this on my international YouTube channel. I think it's for a bigger audience than if I would do this in German. And literally then I would have to translate the video. It wouldn't even make sense. The whole video is in English, so is my reaction. That's better. But the point I wanted to tell about is I like this kind of thing. Because you could literally just step in with some random car you would never think it would be viable for multiplayer, and then just wrecked everyone with it. I really like that. Like if I wanted to go, let's say, a rally, and there were some meta cars like Bone Shaker or stuff like this. For example, in Forza Horizon 4, Bone Shaker was very broken. You could also say, yeah, let me just use a Ford Escort or something like this. Something you wouldn't expect there, and yeah, it just did well. Or, I don't know, a good A car also turned out to be the Nissan 350Z or 350, or the Fairlady also was a good choice. Yeah, and there wouldn't be... There aren't cars I would think are the meta. There was always some surprise. Like we had some funny hours where we all used meta cars, and someone just used a new release car, which was basically an old like it looked like some old ass car you would use in the 1950s or something like that. And it just wrecked everyone because it had a crazy acceleration and could use very well for S1 dirt if you tuned it well. So there was always some surprises. And yes, I definitely agree. It's not a good balancing for someone who doesn't know it, but it doesn't become boring because you always find some new cars which actually are viable to be good. And I think that's what a lot of people like about this game when it comes to multiplayer meta and yeah, competitive.
Be upgraded and fine-tuned. The competence of the balancing is itself questionable, and the performance index number meant to present a simple...
That is very true. Literally, the performance index number means nothing. I literally just use it to be able to... Like if I've tuned something, then this performance index number is literally just for me. Okay, so this car now has can still be in the class, but obviously you could have let's say 800 horsepower car, almost like if you decide to go you know, if your rear, how do you say it? If you don't go AVD but you go RVD, then on paper you are much slower and the performance index number decreases a lot because you have the problem that you got a lot of wheel spin, but you can pack so much more power into the car. And that leads to an occurrence that you like can have 600 or 800 horsepower while still being in class A. And on the other tune where you go like for ABD, for all-wheel drive, you're on the same class but have much less horsepower just because you don't have wheel spin at the start, and that ranks you much further up in terms of performance index number. So this number literally doesn't mean a very lot. That is very true.
simple summation of a car's strength to the player is so unreliable that you'd be better off reading their fucking horoscope. The stock Senna sucked. The upgraded Senna was great. The stock CCGT was also great, but the upgrade made it suck.
That is so not true, dude. The Koenigsegg CCX was very nice. When you tuned it right, yeah. But yeah, if you just go for, I don't know, there's also this mistake to just go for the most download tunes, but those are never really the best. Search for some competitive tunes, like the people like the tunes 1%ers make. They are crazy because they are focused on time attack and literally you beat everyone with it. Or do your own tunes, but don't go for the most downloaded. Those are literally mostly speed breaker tunes, and just go for speed zones for the highest horsepower or for the highest speed. But they never really focus on handling or that kind of stuff, and you would just feel kind of weird and left off when you think, yo, that's a good tune, and then you download it, and then you can make like wrong decisions saying, holy crap, that the car is bad. But that's not the case. You just got to be a better tuner, and you can literally make every car very not very good, but competitive in a way that you could keep up with the meta cars in a certain way. So that's like a little bit too much wine for me, but he apparently doesn't seem to be that deep into the meta series, so I forgive him that.
The result is the feeling that difficulty is a dice roll. Too often in Horizon 5 will you enter an event and be surprised that your car has made it far too easy or far too hard. And because odds of success shift so dramatically based on the specific challenge of taking the lead, even a small difference that provides a push towards doing so can still amount to a large change in experience difficulty. And because rolling the dice again with a different car might change things in your favor, it's all the more frustrating that it can't be done between attempts of an event. Instead, you have to quit the event and haul your ass back over.
Yeah, that is true, but that is literally true for any other video racing game. Like, where the hell can you change your car on the fly? I don't really get that point. Name me a game where that is a thing.
Over to its start point to pick again. Unfortunately, our problems don't end there. Like the dissatisfaction of a story breaking its internal rules, the sense of competition and the fantasy of the race is ruined when the AI operates outside the boundaries.
Yeah, I've seen the point that KuruHS, and I definitely agree. The AI shouldn't be able to race through the water like there's nothing at all happening, and there's like the water doesn't affect him at all. But then again, I didn't play too much single player, so that never was an issue for me, and I maybe never realized it too much. But now that I'm seeing it here straightly to the point, I definitely agree. That should be not a thing. You know me, I'm playing Ridge Racer, and there the AI is just straightly to a point sometimes, where it's really unfair. But the developers wanted it like this, and I think here they definitely unintended it. So that's a big difference. And that really shouldn't be a thing. But yeah, well, you can see that game developers really struggle with this in general, because things like rubber banding you have in a lot of racing games, and it apparently can never be really fixed because it's really hard to balancing a game where the AI keeps well up without making any I can just imagine me. It's really hard for the developer to understand how good the pro players can be. So there's like when you actually set a hard difficulty, that the AI can be able to keep up with them, but also be bad enough for much weaker player. It's always a very big spaghetti, and yeah. I definitely agree that it's really hard to implement, and I really don't want to be a game developer.
of Horizon's pre-established physics. Things like the occasional privilege of enemies wading through water, similar entry,
Yeah, as you can see here, that is just stupid.
similar clearance, but they pass through it like it's not even there. And the blatant privilege of enemies on the highest difficulties to turn with so much downforce they could break the Earth's crust.
Yeah, okay, that's very crazy too. That really shouldn't be a thing. You know, they just try to adapt to the pro players there who are really fast, but yeah, still you shouldn't go for like hacks. Just to make a good balancing.
But there are also some things that give you an unfair advantage, like the racing line, which frequently appears to be smoking.
The racing line is just pure bullshit. The most people either completely deactivate them. However, I personally can't really play without it. I only put it to the braking zones. But you should never drive after the racing line of Forza, and everyone knows that.
Crack. According to conventional wisdom, the red zones indicate a need to bleed some of your speed in order to
The racing line is definitely an issue of the game, and it's very bad that the AI drives after the racing line. That is very true.
make an upcoming turn without flying off. But in Horizon, that's not always the case. Sometimes you can easily take the racing line's red zones flat out with nary a consequence. It's just obvious that the best thing to do is not to slow down. This bizarre phenomena isn't so much a problem for you as it is for the AI drivers who like to do exactly what the line tells them to do. When they see such a false red zone, they'll brake, and you won't. And you'll make up a second or two, or maybe you'll soar past. It's a big win, but it won't be very pleasing because you did nothing to earn it. It feels, again, like abuse. Since some tracks have a lot of these false braking zones but others don't,
That is true.
Horizon's inconsistent
I can't really argument against that because he has a big point there.
does need to reaffirm our perspective on what Forza Horizon is. A hardcore racer.
Forza Horizon a hardcore racer? Definitely not.
That is, compared to every other arcade.
Forza Horizon is literally a fun game, even stated by the developers. I mean, like a game where you drive around, an arcade racer. It's not a seriously mean game, which got very confirmed when they removed the ranked online adventure, which still fucks me up quite a lot.
Racer. It's a sim next to Need for Speed and Burnout, because to be convincing is Horizon's fantasy, real life, idealized. But in order to make that work whilst appealing to the broadest audience, Horizon needs a way to erase the severe consequence of error that comes with semi-realistic driving. The fantasy fails if every crash on tracks you've never seen before costs you the entire race.
Can we talk about how bad this guy is driving? Like, holy moly. And now this video begins, yeah, very controversial for me, to say the least.
And so we must rely upon the rewind system. Horizon's
Literally, never use rewinds. That is the most pleb way you could drive this game. Except that you are bad and, yeah, just give it a retry, and that you don't have the muscle memory of the map inside your brain yet. But don't rewind. Literally, also in Formula 1, I never rewind. It's something that shouldn't be existing at all.
necessary evil. And let's not downplay the evil. Rewinds involve literally breaking the flow of the race apart, but
Because literally rewinds, it's the same with Trackmania 2020. There it can be quite beneficial though to sometimes rewind just to see, whoa, where could I improve even more? Like, how does my old replay compares to when I just go a little bit tighter around the corner or certain stuff? There I can understand it, but at Forza that's not the thing. Forza is really just save you from your crash and yeah, from your mess up, and because it's your fault, you could have prevented that, and that's literally just a skill issue for me. And so I would rather take the restart than to rewind. Also, rewind, you're completely less if you ever try it online, so no, rewind, fuck you.
The fantasy in doing so to pull you back through time. Their game design chemotherapy, they never leave the host unharmed, but with one or two erase, they're tolerable. Until something changes. Something that would raise the number of rewinds to the point of greater frustration. Something like cross-country.
Cross-country is really nice. That's a hard point to speak about. I mean, you could just went to the right side here and not go into the water and you would have been fine. You did the mistake to drive into the water, and it's realistically just drive with your own car from some mud right into the water. There definitely won't make it through. Your car will react to it, and so I find it very yeah, the physics are true. So you either just deal with it and go for a restart, or just accept that you messed up and don't rewind. Because yeah, you can only rewind to a certain point, which is fully understandable. If you can could rewind the whole track, and you could also just go right for a restart. I just don't understand this rewind system in anyway, because normally you really should be like getting a penalty for that if it were serious.
Which is also tolerable, usually. The thing about cross-country is the tracks have a lot of bumps, which means a lot of airtime, even in tiny amounts.
And that is, I mean, cross-country is like that. And this guy literally whines about that that you can't finish the tracks in one try. Like, what's the point of a game for me when everything is so easy that I'm completing everything first try? Literally, for me, Forza, yeah, this kind of game like makes it interesting that you see, oh, yeah, literally, oh, that corner, dude, that one is hard. Let's practice it more and more, and then I'm getting better at it. And this guy whines about, there's a bump, and I didn't make it, or this corner came suddenly. Yeah, that's the point of cross-country. You just don't have the map in your brain yet. But it's not the issue of the game. Like, you would be done with the game in a few hours if you just completed everything first try.
Time magnifies minor distortions in your car's momentum.
And also that makes the multiplayer much more playable. Because yeah, that just makes the maps harder. But there's a trend in Forza Horizon scene that the more harder it gets, the more people whine and please remove ranked. That is way too hard. It should be a fun game for only babies.
Momentum into much bigger problems. It can be quite sudden and quite fun when the event is easy.
I mean, literally, this scene right now. Look how the conditions are. Look at this fog. There's a storm right now, and you expect that your car will act like there's nothing, but then making claims or whining about that. And previously that the weather is not affecting you at all, or some kind of stuff, that the water is not affecting you, and now literally when it does affect you, you're being like unplayable. Sorry, I didn't really say it properly, but you get my point.
It's a little more frustrating when it's hard, but it's only a serious problem when you get to the parts of the track that seem especially designed to cause it.
I mean, first off, just like in Trackmania, you could air brake to stabilize your car. It works in Forza Horizon 2 and saves you of a lot of bumps. And then when you first time play a map like this, rather don't go pedal to the metal, but explore the map first and figure out the bumps.
Macrocosmic scale, the jumps. Any rogue momentum, once containable, now has the airtime to become a death spiral, if you're rotating at all.
Literally, just like, if I watch this, man, dude, deactivate your rewind and just deal with it that you did a bad steering before the hill. You could still make it.
You've got to rewind. Sometimes you've got to
Like,
become
look
a
at-
scale.
Look at this. This guy, like, if he jumps this way, he can still make it. I don't see the point here. Yeah, these. To be honest, yes, these jumps are kinda. How do you call them when you don't see where to jump to? Blind jumps, yeah. Maybe this guy wishes like some kind of indicator in the air where to steer. I don't know. It's still cross country. If they did it like in a normal street racing map and such a jump, then I would say yes, that is not really fair. But in cross country, do you really need the indicator where to jump to?
Jumps. Any rogue momentum, once containable,
I
now
don't
has
know.
the airtime to become a death spiral. If you're rotating,
This really feels like the typical Forza Horizon driver to me, who just, if things gets too hard, yeah, then he rather leaves instead of trying. Literally, I'm playing a game, Trackmania, which is a rather old game, but also has a newer version since 2020. And there we have a clear saying that that you should never give up, and yeah, just always improve. And you can't make it the first time through. What kind of racing game would that be? Learn through your mistakes and adapt. Literally.
at all, you've got to rewind. Sometimes you've got to rewind half a dozen times because
You got to rewind. Oh man. I mean, it's kind of Forza's fault that they made this rewind thing a thing at all. So people actually use it, but you know that there's a setting that you can rewind it, that you can deactivate it.
rogue momentum can be very hard to kill, and you might have to kill all of it when the checkpoint you're aiming for is particularly tight. It's especially irritating when said checkpoint is obscured from view by the ramp itself, which means you'll need to fail the jump
You could have made it.
and rewind just to get a look at where you're going. Hills, the purest expression of Horizon's carefree fantasy.
I mean, just look. Look at the signage here. It even tells you to jump to the right. What is this guy doing? He jumps left.
Become the knee over which it is snapped. Checkpoints should have been consistently visible, consistently wider, or run-ups should have been straighter so
Consistently visible checkpoints. How easy do you want your game, please? Wider. How? Some of these checkpoints are already really wide. Do you want the checkpoints to be like, I don't know, 20 meters? So that even with the most pleb driving you won't miss them or what?
as to let you dissipate unwanted momentum. Cross-country, sometimes fun, sometimes agony. Which brings me on to the second thing that makes
Dude, don't you see the
momentum.
corner right there?
Cross-country,
Literally, I can already tell that he's not making the corner with this kind of steering and speed he has.
sometimes fun, sometimes
And
agony.
as you can
Which
see-
brings me on to the second thing that makes rewinds unfortunately frequent. Difficult.
Dude, this guy can't even proper racing a line. I don't really want to mesh too much on his driving, but it all results then in a... then he really shouldn't do the video. Like, he shouldn't be the guy who is whining about it when his driving looks like this. Because most of the issues he's representing, displaying here, are just minor driving issues, major driving issues.
Difficulty. As difficulty rises, so does the weight of your mistakes.
I mean, literally, the guy said that the racing line is not really helpful in any way, and you could just see that he would make it if he would drive more to the left. Did you never drove a racing game? Like, you should know of the racing line in your mind.
and so does the incentive to erase them. Rewinds become a further incentive in themselves to make the riskiest moves, because you know you can reverse your failures. Pressure to make the most of track limits increases, but because track limits in Horizon are defined by checkpoints, the punishment for exceeding them is once again a rewind. Rewinds are the
I don't know what to say to that. It's really hard for me because I never use rewinds. I just accept that I'm crap when I'm doing this. Like, you know, that is just a brisk movement he's doing
pressure
here.
to make the most of track limits increases.
This thing
but because
and yeah, giving them the fall to the game just because you completely risked here and missed the checkpoint. It's not really an issue of the game.
Exceeding them is once again a rewind.
More like of you not knowing yet how to use the handbrake properly. That's just my opinion. You can have a different one, but yeah, I was talking with Wegbauer and other people about this issue lately. The issue of just not every Forza Horizon player, but a lot of them are people who want the easiest solutions. But like they want that the game is easily, fastly played throughable. But those are also the people who whine then that the game is only a few hours long. If that would be the case, I can already tell you.
The product of difficulty in Horizon. And even though that sucks, it's not easy to call it a criticism, because it seems so fundamental.
Exactly, it's not a criticism at all, because you can't really blame it on the game if you just can't drive. Get good, dude.
Rewinds were always the price we would have to pay for an accessible power fantasy with semi-realistic driving, right? Well...
Dude, this guy has a way with his words, man.
After all that talk of leader disparity and inconsistencies, I realize it might not entirely be so fundamental. For one, the incentives are highest to make the riskiest moves most likely to end with a rewind when your car feels hopelessly outmatched, and there's nothing fundamental about Horizon's inconsistent difficulty.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say. Because I don't really... I would have to see more of each section. Like, if you just
make the riskiest moves most likely to end with a rewind when your car feels...
If you just cut right here to this moment, I can't really tell you if you were able to see where to jump before. Like, if you cut right to here, I'm only seeing that
outmatched,
out of this perspective, yes, this is kind of unfair. I agree. But usually there are some signs indicating where to jump to. And yeah, then it shouldn't be such a matter. Obviously, if you're following the AI, that's just stupid. Because, yeah, let's say the AI is not really good. But that's not the point.
About Horizon's inconsistent difficulty. Address the balance and you reduce the problem. Make it not annoying to switch cars and that'd help too.
But dude, this guy, it frustrates me so much that he's going for the rewind button. Rewind time!
For another, you know what else promotes the riskiest moves? Knowing that your greatest advantages will come from not braking when the line says you should. Playground could not have come up with a better way to discourage caution. Fix this, and you'd hit the problem again.
I mean, you could have seen that you're not gonna make it with this amount of speed through the corner.
And there's one more thing. We know that rewinds are a product of difficulty, but have we ever questioned what we're actually trying to achieve? Winning? Define winning, because Horizon defines winning very specifically. Winning in Horizon means...
Now we come to the silliest point of the video. Like, I have nothing against this guy in particular, I don't know him at all, and I don't wanna flame him to death right here, but it's just the opinion of a guy who played this game a lot. Not this game, but the previous games, and they are all just kind of the same, so I can say that. And I also played Horizon 5, but not for long because I didn't like it, but not because of the points he's making here. And this is literally, I don't know from where this guy came from, if he ever played a racing game, but that is, my god.
Means coming first. Anything less can feel a lot like losing. It actually is losing in Hot Wheels Park, where second or lower is the same as a...
I mean, Do you want the game that you're like also winning the campaign if you got second or third? I mean, literally, for my opinion, I hate games where it's okay to finish in third or in second, to finish the track. Like, what is that bullshit? Either first or nothing. And I really don't understand that mentality. Maybe he wanted to explains it differently and doesn't mean it like he's telling right here. But
DNF.
that sounds so wrong for me.
In Mexico, the loss is more psychological. It's more so that you don't feel comfortable finishing in a lower position. As a start, take a look at the map.
Yeah, if you're second, you're just trash.
If you come first, the event is gilded, a visible mark
Yeah, then you made it. Then you made the
of
event.
accomplishment. If you finish beneath first, there is no bronze or
I don't know. Do I care? Do I care for that? I have no idea, but to be honest, I don't care at all if there's a golden, a bronze medal, or a silver. Like, yeah, I have to think right now. Like in Trackmania, there's this medal system too, and obviously you're the most happy about a Trackmaster medal or the Author medal. Gold, silver, and bronze are just like, okay for me. Let's try again. Do I care about these medals? No.
silver gilding. It is only even acknowledged by the worthless and intangible accolade points. Then take
Dude, this guy is telling me like, the whole run just was worthless. My god.
a look at the end screen. In Horizon 5, the first place driver alone is labeled the winner, as there
Yeah, because it makes sense. Do you want to be the winner when you're a third or what?
are invariably embarrassing emote functions as a taunt. Afterwards, you're told how much
Oh my god. This guy. Oh yeah, oh man, he makes it way too serious. He sounds like... Or they making fun of me with this taunt. With the winning pose.
much XP you earned, but not how many credits, which is the vastly more tangible reward. Neither is there a rising gauge that displays clear progress towards unlocking more events. Both things that in Horizon 4 helped encourage a greater comfort with lower placements. And as a finishing touch, if you come lower than first multiple times in a row, you will be asked whether you'd
I actually about this I don't really remember right now. Was this a Horizon 4 or the Horizon 5 screen? It's a while ago I played Horizon 5.
unlocking more events. Both things that in Horizon 4 helped encourage a greater comfort with lower placements. And as a finishing touch, if you come lower than first multiple times in a row, you will be asked whether you'd like to lower the difficulty. The message that sends is clear. It's first or fuck you.
The fuck? I mean, you just said the word itself, so I can use it. The fuck is wrong with this guy? Like, what? Yeah, I don't know. I play racing games for the mentality to be first. I don't know what this guy is doing. If he wants to be acknowledged for being fifth.
This is also not an easy point to make, because Horizon has always been frustratingly hesitant to reward good performance. But that's not what's happening here. The game recognizes no meaningful difference between a 2nd and 12th place finish. This is about the very conscious effort Horizon has made to promote first as the sole...
I mean, once again, does he want a medal for the first until the second until the 12th place finish? So like, whoa, dude, you got 11th. Great. Dude, I don't know. Maybe it should be acknowledged that you got third, but even that not, and also not second. In my opinion. It's hard to say, because I'm not really a beginner driver, I would say, and so I care for being first. Everything else doesn't really matter for me. Maybe these people actually really be happy about being third or fifth. That's just a retry for me.
definition of success and the problems that has caused, because races, sometimes, can feel like they're not even worth finishing if you place any lower, which creates an especially intense pressure to change that with rewinds. You see? Not quite so fun.
Dude. That was the easiest corner I've literally ever seen in this game. That doesn't make it.
Especially intense pressure.
How? It even looks like he's going for the
They're not
handbrake
even
here.
worth finishing if you place any lower, which creates an especially
look at the speedometer here. He
pressure.
like goes for the handbrake.
To change that with rewinds. You see? Not quite so
Rewinds.
fundamental, but there's more. This is also what gives such unique relevance.
Dude, this is the most controversial video I've ever watched. Literally, when I watched this the first time, I knew I gotta make a video about this. I'm really not a reaction YouTuber, but what is that? And that's a game I can speak very well about, because I fairly know it.
Relevance to lead a disparity, and the difficulty inconsistencies that are magnified by it. It even creates an
And what I can see here is from a guy who played this like, I don't know. It's hard to tell. 30 hours, 24 hours maximum.
unfavorable pressure to play an event repeatedly until you come first, instead of moving on to new events, comfortable with pole, and coming back later for a higher position, which might have done the game's variation some good. The racing experience of Horizon 5 can be so mediocre, the mechanics of it all so generally clumsy, that you start to think, damn, you're lucky you're so pretty, Horizon. If it weren't for that onslaught of spectacle and fidelity and music, and the feel of the cars, would I still enjoy racing them? Or would I be back on Need for Speed Heat already?
Oh my god. Need for Speed Heat. Ah, the physics there, they are not even comparable to Forza Horizon. That just hurts.
And it's not the only time you'll get that impression. I want to talk about Horizon's other events. Not the franchises, but everything on offer that doesn't fit into those four categories.
I wish this guy would talk also a little bit about the multiplayer, because even the developers saying that this game is not completely focused for single player. I mean, literally, in the trailer there are these events to play with others and the playgrounds and all that stuff. But this guy doesn't mention it at all yet. All he's doing is whining about the single player, who isn't even the biggest focus of the game, which isn't even the biggest focus. I can see that it's important for him, and they definitely the single player definitely is lacking. But the point is he's doing.
Like the expeditions, curated Horizon. The right car, the right music, and the right weather is selected to complement and harmonize with the right location.
Yeah, that's definitely good. They always do a good job there. Good music, good feeling of the cars. Yes, I agree.
Volcano, Tremors, an RS200, Gustav Holt's Mars, and a buggy thingamajig for the getaway, right into a dirt race. The ruins, lightning, wind, and adrenaline pumping through the sound. God, Horizon and curated harmony is still bliss, and it can make an event.
Yeah, the scripted events are really good. Those are like the pinnacles of the single player.
With mechanical ideas no better than slowly driving through fucking rocks, among the best experiences I've had gaming in quite a long time. But Horizon doesn't always look its best, and sometimes only its best would have been enough to save it.
Dude, this video still goes 20 minutes. I really wonder how much more points he has here.
From its mechanical lacking. About a minute into the Festival of the Moon event with all the lights and colours and sounds, and having been reminded for the 17th time about how excited I should be, it actually came as a surprise when I realised I wasn't. The Porsche was slow and the route was shallow, and the flotilla was slow and the route was even shallower. The smoke and mirrors just aren't.
Okay, I gotta say, I can't say anything to this event because this is a Forza Horizon 5 event, clearly, and I didn't play Forza Horizon 5 for much. And the DLCs, this looks like one, never were that really good implemented, and also the Lego edition I didn't really liked.
Always enough to cover for the emptiness inside, and I'm gonna hate having to do this, but to some degree I felt that
Dude, don't say anything about this event. This event is great.
way about the showcases too.
Nase voll von Werbung wie dieser?
Oh,
Jetzt ganz
ja.
einfach blockieren. Gehe
Yes,
einfach
my
auf
nose is full of this
adkiller.de.
ad.
Oh god, this sucks. Everybody loves Horizon's showcases. They're the coolest rides. You get to race fucking F-22s, Optimus Prime, and the Albanian Rosas. What's not to like? Well, you're about to find out. The
Yeah, that's cool. Literally West
race
Point.
of the showcase, though technically real in the sense that you can fail, is otherwise illusory in the sense that the speed and position of your opponent is scripted to provide the tensest racing experience. They've usually got the route advantage, you're usually faster side by side, you'll always be left behind.
Yeah, but isn't that cool? I mean, yes, you know that you're gonna win at the end. I don't know, these events just living there from the fact that there is custom models, and that is even a thing I can very appreciate from the developers. But I don't really whine about the fact that I know that this train or whatever is gonna break in front of the finish line.
Before finding a way to recover the pace, and it'll always be made to seem hopeless, so it's all the more impactful when they conveniently lose half their speed and you shoot past for a split-second win. Maybe you believe this was all legit 10 fucking years ago. It is 10 years hence, and what's
It's hard to say about something about this. I'm trying to get into his head and see the points he's doing from his view, and yeah, you could say it like this.
consistent across showcases number 27 to 30 is that there is no attempt whatsoever to obfuscate the formula or to in any way break its predictability. They're not getting inventive with the routes or the pace with which you trade positions. It's the exact same trick, and the illusion has begun to erode. If I don't believe, even in the slightest, that I can catch up at times like these, and Playground aren't doing anything to change my perspective, I start to mentally check out. The only thing they have changed is making things even more obvious. Never before has your opponents magically losing their speed on the final stretch been quite this extreme, or looked quite this absurd. Challenge is problem 2. The mental
Yeah. That is a thing which is very hard to implement. Like, if you made it that you could actually lose the race, some people would whine again that it's way too hard, that the enemy has overpowered cars, which you never can have. I feel like these kind of events with planes and things are just for showcase what is possible with the game.
pressure of knowing that a poor performance could lose you the race can only exist if you believe a mistake is possible, but you're in the stablest cars that exist in the game, driving around shallow corners at manageable speeds. For Horizon's physics, this is a relaxing drive. Showcases have
Oh, this guy actually drives better now.
never been so easy, or so lacking in tension. What else do they have to work with? Well, I'm glad you asked that, because as the expeditions have proven, when Horizon looks its best, its mechanical problems can be easily forgotten. That was how Horizon 4 got away with it. You were distracted from its undisguised clockwork by spectacle ramped up beyond anything before. And there's not much critical substance in comparing dicks, but let's face it, 5's is smaller. 4 had you race a hover
Comparing things. I stopped for a moment, but yeah, that's the other one.
craft that was bigger than Horizon 1. 5's got this. 4 had the Flying Scotsman. 5's got a train. 4 had Glen Rannoch. 5's got a not very interesting canyon. 4
Okay, that is a point. That seems quite repetitive. I gotta say, I never played the events of Forza Horizon 5 because I already told you I stopped a few hours after I purchased it.
will let you play as motherfucking Mr. Cheese on an ass-clenching escape from the Halo ring with
That was really cool.
Cheese, Pelicans, Carriers, and Cortana, and 5 doesn't even have a Breaking Bad crossover. Really, guys? I'm not saying it doesn't.
It's a game for multi-platform so far. Wide range of skill capsules made for casuals to please the new corners. What do you mean? It's a game for multi-platform so for wide range of skill cap. Yes. So it's made for casuals to please the corners. Yeah. It's hard to say, like, this guy is clearly casual, I'm watching here right now, and he, the most part of this video, he now whined about how unforgiving this game can be. That's literally not a valid point for me because, like, there kicks my Trackmania mentality in. If you're too bad, you just suck and go for another round to be better than this.
Doesn't have its
Like, if you do risk and you completely mistime your handbrake, then it's not the game issue, but your fault. Skill issue.
moments. This was pretty good, and
But now he's talking about the events which are kind of repetitive, and now that I'm seeing that, yes, he definitely has a valid point.
that was... Yep. Okay. Okay, you got me. But that's the exception. The rule is that Horizon 5 lacks the spectacle it needs to cover for everything else it lacks.
But to be honest, these kind of events where some trains drive against you, where some planes drive against you, those are just showcase events for me, what is possible with the games, and I don't take them as seriously races.
Repetition has worn down the magic, and I found these showcases bland. Huh. Never expected to use that word. Kinda breaks my heart. What's left then is for us to look at the events contained within Horizon 5's
Also, we are 50 minutes in and this guy has spoken zero about the multiplayer yet, which is the biggest factor of the game. It's not single player. Literally, I've said it multiple times now, but even the developers put more effort into the trailer for multiplayer instead of single player.
narrative-driven micro-campaigns. You're given a cool car and something very simple to do with it. Sometimes it's hit skill points or drift points or a jump, but usually it's get from point A to point B. There's about 50 in total, and of them I'd say about 50
Exactly.
are mediocre. Okay, maybe 47. When the car and the setting hit just the right notes, you'll enjoy it regardless of what it is. Forging a route through the trees and river, in a buggy, in a hurricane.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, that's cool, but that is not the norm. The norm is Horizon at its most mundane. 3 minutes of something not very interesting in a not very interesting place.
Dude, literally, you have that in any racing game. That you gotta race to some destination to pick up a car or bring it to somewhere. That's a hard point. I literally use these races to like figure out new cars because usually they give you cars I would never buy myself. And yeah, so it was always a new discovery for me. But I can understand that for some people this can feel boring. But yeah, Horizon looks so good and has such nice spots that I rather took this as, yo, look at all this.
There is usually more excitement to be had in the drive to the next chapter than in the next chapter, and that's most of the review right there. But there is a...
But I've said it like 100 times, the Horizon story isn't really good, and this guy could like finally stop about whining about the story.
Another problem. What's also normal is some of the strangest balance and objective design I have ever seen in a racer. It all began when I saw a giant destination flare miles in the distance, and an objective that simply read, "Get to the destination." There was a route on the minimap, but there weren't any checkpoints, so I wondered if you could, or if you were supposed to, drive to the destination directly. Can you? Yes. Supposed to. I arrived about a minute ahead of the 3-star time, so probably not. But then I tried it in the next event, and again, and again, and it turns out, at baffling random, there are some events in every storyline that simply let you cheat. I emphasize...
Yeah, because these are... Yeah, okay, that is really bad. And the previous yeah, I also never kind of understand these scores because the game literally said it's a waypoint race, so start to finish. And you could search your route yourself. But yeah, it really shouldn't be a thing when there's AI driving against you.
Baffling, because just one event later the same objective might have checkpoints or an out-of-bounds timer that keeps you stuck to the route. But it gets even stranger, because in some events, you need to cheat. If you stick to the route for Alejandra's mountain descent or Rami's buggy in the Baja, you won't even scratch the 3-star boundary. They're balanced for the direct path. Then there are the events that let you cheat, that ask you not to cheat, instead of just preventing you from cheating.
There's no checkpoints, just the finish line. So keep to the route and get there first.
And then there are the events that let you cheat, that
I can't really say much about that. I haven't played Forza Horizon 5 that much. I played Forza Horizon 4 and there it was better,
Tell you
I
to
would
cheat
say.
that aren't balanced for cheating. Under the assumption that ignore Anna in the final test driver race meant ignore Anna, I elected to ignore Anna. And surprisingly enough, I won. By a lot. But Horizon's loony bin balancing is not exclusive to the routes. The difficulty of the 3-star boundary is as often forgiving to the point of effortlessness, as it is demanding of consistently good play. I've crashed into every wall in Guanajuato.
And now we come to the point again where you see that this guy literally can't drive. I'm sorry to say that, but my god, maybe you shouldn't be the one who making this video when half of your video is skill-based.
Exclusive to the route.
Skill-based issues.
The difficulty of the 3-star boundary is as often forgiving to the point of effortlessness, as it is demanding of consistently good play. I've crashed into every...
Yeah, I mean that should be a requirement for racing games that you're a consistently good player. Drive to PT without just check
the wall in Guanajuato and made it with 30 seconds to spare. But there are times, even a decent attempt isn't enough. What Horizon wants from you changes with the wind, and given time, it amounted not to frustration, but to complete indifference. I stopped caring about how I performed, and that left these events with very little ground to stand on. They're fine, but they're awful for a game of Horizon's caliber. This is not the greatest arc.
Does this guy really said just right now that this guy is a racer of Horizon's caliber? Okay.
Arcade racing has been. What I want to talk about next is how all the game's events are distributed. Welcome to the Horizon Adventure, the latest of the franchise's campaign structures, and the latest of their attempts to provide the player with ever more freedom. You'll do some stuff, you'll earn a Horizon Adventure point, and you'll spend it on whatever you'd like to unlock next. If you want, you can...
Yeah, these events are kinda okay.
Do all the showcases first thing. Make your own campaign. Sounds good, right? There'll be no awards for guessing I'm not gonna say yes. First off, holy shit, why does the game need to be such a nagging Nelly about it? You let loose after an event, you drive off, and then Haley says, "It's time to unlock a new adventure," and you'll be forcibly grinded to a halt until you've chosen, and you have to...
That is kinda true. What I also didn't like, you're getting forced into the map by driving sometimes. Like, look, you just unlock this on the card, and then we're free to drive again. After you've gone through a lot of talking.
To listen to all her dialogue, and it's just the
Yeah,
most
that
infuriating
is true.
thing. Off you go, and into a wall. It happens many times. Why not just have a pop-up, or force me to choose during the post-race credits instead? Or let me skip the dialogue? I don't mean to
Yeah, that would
make
be
a
better.
mountain out of a molehill, but this should be tried as a war crime. Now, as for the structure itself, the question on my mind is, how could the benefits of Horizon Adventure possibly outweigh the costs? What we gain is, the novelty of doing things out of order? What we lose is the certainty of intelligent distribution. We lose the designer's understanding of pace and variation, and their ability to create a satisfying shape for the campaign as a whole, with a strong sense of finality and closure. What we lose is meaning.
Sometimes I don't really get what this guy is talking about. Sorry.
In detaching the ultimate events of each racing franchise from progress or performance in each franchise, they are no longer the boss fights of racing, they are just a long race. In detaching the showcase from progress in Horizon, it becomes a particularly flashy event, instead of something to motivate you forward and punctuate your progress. Why? What's the point? I like freedom, but the Horizon Adventure seems certain to do more harm than good, and it is not alone. It's a point on a much larger trend of effort disconnecting from reward. Let's take a look at another one. Skill score. Yeah, skill score. This has been flying under the radar for...
Skill score, okay. You want the story mode or not? Yeah, I don't really see myself what he wants. He's talking about this, and then he is whining again about something else. Then he wants it. Then when he wants a story mode, then he doesn't want the story mode. This is a really controversial video for me. Wait, my phone just started talking.
Far too long. Now in theory, and I have emailed Bill Nye about this, skill score should reward skill. In reality, skill score rewards stuff.
I really like these skill songs, like just pull off these drifts or go through through something else and keep your multiplayer applicator alive. Let's see what he's talking about here, what he has to say here.
Stuff. Just stuff. Oh, you'll get skill points for drifting. You'll also get skill points for crashing into trees and cactuses and fences. You'll get clean racing bonuses seconds after having snapped.
Oh, these guy. I mean, that's just to keep your multiplicator alive. He wants. Yeah, I mean, you get skill points for driving well, but you also get skill points for drifting. Yeah, maybe shouldn't name them skill points then, but give him a different name, like, I don't know, party points. I don't know.
Someone in half. You'll get show-off bonuses and hard charger bonuses for. To be honest, I'm still not sure. You'll get skill points and hard charger bonuses.
You get show off for overtaking on the yeah, when you got a 1 of 5 multiplicator and then overtaking on the left side.
Bonuses for to be honest, I'm still not sure. You'll get skill points.
Yeah, okay, hard charger, I don't know myself. Landscaping is obviously true. You go
for airtime, and because the Mexican wilderness is mostly fences, cactuses, and bumps, you'll rack up airtime and destruction bonuses so quickly that nothing else could compete by just driving in a straight line. You see what I mean? Skill score rewards. Stuff. Know what's cool for a car to do, or what's difficult for a driver to do. You could blitz a P1 down the highway going for those fat near-miss bonuses, but you'd make points at thrice the rate with none of the risk by driving into trees and sliding through a field.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, then maybe don't call them skill points.
There's no award for taking smooth corners. The points say you should crash. You should spin out because there's bonus.
To be honest, those are just party points for me. You do while a song is active.
For losing
just
grip
have a good time and make some.
And you know what becomes
chance.
of this incoherence? Two things. When I'm told to collect skill points by Horizon,
but literally, this guy's talking right now again like he's like that is a bad point of the game. Then just don't collect the points.
Arcade, a story objective, or
I mean, you're not forced to do these.
Skill song, it's boredom, because I know the quickest way to do that is to play mindlessly. Otherwise, it's indifference. The UI dances to some incomprehensible tune, and I've long forgotten it's even there. Effort and reward share a complicated relationship in Horizon, which finally brings me on to credits. Money, with which you buy new cars, new parts, and
okay, he's finally talking about the money after 20 minutes.
New ways to make yourself look like an idiot.
Yeah, to be honest, these character, they are just, yeah. I mean, they never play a big role in any game, so please don't have a talk about this.
Now, you will make money through race payouts, and by the time Horizon 6 comes out, you might have enough to buy a Datsun. You're not going to race for credits. You're going to spin for credits, which makes it sound like stripping. I mean wheel spins. They're roulette, a matter of chance. Like
yeah, wheel spins should be removed in the game at all, completely, because that's just a way too easy thing to get cars, and yeah. Like at a certain point, I had like 300 spins remaining, and I think I still have 150 or something like that. You get them way too fast.
Like an engram in Destiny, and they're not a bad idea. Who doesn't like a little gamble? The problem is that they're the primary driver of progression. What's consistent is that a lucky...
Please don't say now that that you get cars way too rarely.
Few wheel spins will get you more credits than you've earned from every race combined.
That is very true. Like you can get so much cash through that the cash from the racing events becomes very pointless.
What's inconsistent is everything else. Maybe you'll play for an hour and come away with a pair of knee-high socks. Not now, Horizon, my wife's watching. Or maybe you'll log on for 10 minutes and land yourself the best car in the game. I don't think effort and reward are ever coming back from this one, and the result of their disconnection is a numbness, where the satisfaction of progression should be. Something similar to indifference. When I win big, I never feel like
Yeah, literally, these Horizon wheel spins should maximum have 10,000 or 20,000 credits. 100,000, 300,000 is just ridiculous. Because, yeah.
I earned it, and when I lose, I feel like my time's being wasted, especially when it's socks. That shit's bad enough at Christmas, but there is one more problem with progression, the most important, and the one that has divided the community in two. The progression's too quick, so says the hardcore player, who believes Horizon 5 with its S-Class starter cars, free supercars, and abundance of wheel spins is generous to the point of stamping out the last embers of meaningful progression. Too much value is given and not earned. But then casual Colin collapses through the door, tie loose, breakfast in hand, clearly late for one of his 3 jobs, and explains that non-basement.
Honestly, as someone who's got limited time to play games these days, it's nice when you... Oh no, please don't start this discussion. Oh no. That is the worst thing. Literally, the whole video I knew this guy is gonna be some of these guys. This video maker is gonna go into the direction of saying that this game is too long. It frustrates me so much that nowadays everyone wants to complete games in a few hours, wants to unlock any cars he wants without a little of playing. As someone who got limited time to play games these days, it's nice when you don't have to grind in a game. I've been playing Forza since like, dude, if there was no grind, then you would literally be zero motivated to ever touch the multiplayer or something or some stuff like this, like to play the game actually for a long time. If you get everything shoved up your ass, I would be done. Like literally, for example, if you cheat in a game, like Forza or something like stuff. Like I don't mean now anything speed tech or anything. I just mean just in any game. Just if you get a lot amount of money, you're realizing that you can buy the world, and then literally this game becomes complete rubbish to you or complete uninteresting because you just can play everything now, have your best cars, and then that's it. And that's literally the opinion I have. When you get everything shoved up your ass, then this game becomes pointless. So there always has to be a good balance between grinding and getting things shoved up your ass. But I've seen so many comments like this, and it really triggers me. I've been playing Forza since like Motorsport 3. I don't need to climb the ranks every time a new one comes out. Just let me get the cars I want to get.
Well as have lives and responsibilities and can't.
Oh my god, this guy. Yeah, I don't understand why people expect anything more than an open world casual game. Like, sorry, I work 40 hours a week and I don't have time to grind a race after race just to get a combat. If that's what Forza Horizon was like, then I probably wouldn't play it. Forza is a game about collecting and racing cars, not about starting as a nobody and working your way up. Other games do that. Forza is intentionally trying to sit in a different niche. The reason I play Forza is very much because I don't want to spend 20 hours racing Civics before I get to do something interesting. I like being given superpowers and tons of credits early on in the game. I think there should be 2 cooperation modes, one for people like me and one for people who want to start with a 12k hatchback. Yeah, exactly. You need to work for your goals. Like, are they acting the same in real life as well? Well,
afford to grind video games 5 hours a day. That massive roadblocks to the fun of the game are pointless and exclusionary.
Dude, if you just could start the game and immediately pick the Nissan Concept 2024 GT, what is the point?
So who's right? Both. These positions are both valid, but the split fanbase for the sake of their argument.
I hope this guy really doesn't go on the side of the people who wants everything shoved up theirs.
Tend to invent a false dichotomy, that a game is either a sandbox or a car PG, that Horizon should be or always has been one or the other, but we've played previous...
I mean, there are extreme examples like Gran Turismo 7. It got patched now, but there I agree that was too much grinding. When it comes to a point that you can't even buy a car only with stupid amounts of grinding, like literally playing hours for hours the same track because you get a lot of money there, and you can, and on the other way you could buy that car for like 200 euro real game money, then I say, Monka S, that is too much grinding. But literally, Forza is a game I never grinded a lot because after a few hours, 100 hours of playtime, I already had like almost all cars. So please don't be this guy who is saying that this game even has to be stripped down even more to get things even easier. Like I have a lot of people saying Forza is way too easy. And that's true. And everyone who's saying they just don't play games then. Like even if you work 40 hours a week, then just play it here and there on the weekend, and you will have it in, I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks, or I don't know. Forza to grind for good times with a car you like and try to get better. They liked in school. I write my name, etc. so get minus score to pass them. No.
Horizons? We know that isn't true. We know that Horizon has always sought the broadest appeal through compromise. And we know, from the absence of complaint...
Like, look, the Wii Spin is so heavy overpowered that you literally can get any car after a few hours of playtime. So please don't be this guy who says even that is too much grind.
Until recently, that the franchise had done enough for everyone. Until recently. Until Horizon proved willing to take a mile from meaning, if it gave instant gratification an inch. Horizon should not be a grind. God knows there are 100 other games you could play for.
Dude, there are almost 600 cars in the game. Do you want them all free in your garage or what? Obviously, you have to play a bit for some cars to achieve. Oh, this makes me so frustrating. I gonna upload this to YouTube. My god. This guy has 425,000 subs. And it's trending Forza radio right now. If that's the community of Forza, that I'm so done with it.
For that. But for those interested in a modest arc of meaningful progress, the needless extremes of Horizon's generosity, the Senna, the Centenario, the best cars in the game by chance, inexorably and severely damages the psychological...
Yeah, exactly. I bought this game, give me the Koenigsegg right away.
...motive to go on, and the psychological desire for purpose. The experience can feel...
Like, literally, you just seen 1,235,000 credits aren't even much. Just spin the Wii Spin for a few times, do the Hockalicious, I almost said. Do these these huge tracks for a few times, and you got it.
Flat. Likewise, the alternative to starting in the second highest car class isn't a trio of unbearable shitboxes. It's B class, or A class. A Dodge Charger can fulfill the cool...
Wait, I didn't really pay attention. What is he saying?
Can feel flat. Likewise, the alternative to starting in the second highest car class isn't a trio of unbearable shitboxes. It's B class, or A class. A Dodge Charger can fulfill the cool car fantasy and provide a larger overhead for progression at once.
Does this guy is mad about right now that you're starting in a low class with the game? Or did I understand it wrong?
Everyone, from hardcore to casual, can get enough from Horizon, but they aren't, and that sucks. It's ironic too, isn't it? Because no doubt this is a result of Playground's continued efforts to further expand their audience. But there is always a point where everyone becomes no one. I think Horizon is beginning to cross it, and I think you might just agree, if you're brave enough, if you've got the guts and the stomach to follow me, where sanity goes to die. Do you guys know why Forza Horizon 5 took an extra year to develop? It's because Playground needed some time off after realizing they accidentally wrote...
We could literally go to the Forza Horizon website and they state there that the story is not the biggest focus of the game.
A tolerable character. Kira Harrison was a marketer. That's it. She, like everybody else, had one dimension, and hers was to introduce and advertise the game's content to the player. Now that doesn't exactly sound like brilliant character work, but Kira didn't deliver the inorganic...
I can't really say much to that because, once again, I didn't play the Forza Horizon 5 to that point, and this is probably a DLC, I suppose, which came out a few weeks or months ago. So, and I stopped this game before a few months at least, maybe almost a year.
soulless, cringe-worthy Horizon dialogue with a manic, infantile enthusiasm that
But I played Forza Horizon 4 from the beginning until the end, and I played Forza Horizon 3 from beginning to the end.
resembled an amphetamine high.
There's a driver I've had my eye on around here. Find them, beat them in a race, and we can sign their driver up to the festival lineup.
Or maybe she was just Irish, I don't know. But that basically made her the Walter White of Horizon's characters, by Horizon 3 and 4.
It's hard to judge the story for me, literally, when you didn't play it. I can't really say much to that now. This guy still didn't talk about the multiplayer.
One
Great.
character who wasn't annoying was the best its writing had to offer. That was how low the bar had been set for Horizon 5, and they still managed to limbo beneath it. Horizon 5 comes out swinging, having fired Kira, hired Haley, and found new depths of failure on quite literally every other level. What we need to understand first is that Horizon has strengthened its commitment to a positive tone with every entry since Horizon 1. By now, positivity is permanent, and negativity is extinct. Do you know what that means? It's not the absence of grief or despair. It's the absence of all negative.
The thing is, I can say basically nothing to this right now. It's also the case that the story is touching me to zero in these games.
The notion of losing, the notion of being.
And I don't care if it's bad or not. I don't care about the story. I care about the cars and the gameplay.
Scared or stressed, the notion of competition, and this denies Horizon 5 everything. The characters can only express excitement, which makes them completely flat and almost indistinguishable from one another. To
Yeah, that's kind of true.
maintain Horizon's absolute chill, they can only want things with the lowest of stakes, which makes it impossible to care about whether or not they get it. Alejandra wants to restore her Papa Fernando's.
But literally, this is not an RPG. I don't know what he's expecting here, but this game was never meant like that people can show expressions like sadness here, or real life, I don't know, expressions.
Beetle, but she never knew Papa.
The story is just an add-on for me. What is kinda there to make the game not feel that lifeless. But I don't care about it.
Fernando, and she's kind of just doing it for fun. The player wants to become a Hall of Famer, but we're already recognized as a superstar and the single most important driver at the festival. Rami wants you to become a Lucha de Carretera because wouldn't it be cool? Frankie wants you to stunt drive for him on a movie because he's a lazy jackoff, and if you don't, it'll upset the director. Here's what needs to be loudly emphasized. This was probably written for children. That is not a pass. Kids fiction
Because it's a children's game.
follows the same basic narrative rules as adult fiction. SpongeBob has stakes. Horizon doesn't. Its absolute devotion to joy has denied it the theoretical possibility of not being boring. And I did say this doesn't work on any level. That includes the surface. By the standards of children or the standards of adults, Horizon lacks everything that can make dialogue worthwhile in its own right. It lacks charm, it lacks wit. It's usually too lifeless to even qualify as cringe, and its attempts at humor fail 9 times out of 10.
You're really zoning out the competition there. Nothing. Those superstars are the toughest crowd. That was definitely something.
On some lines, the delivery can be so overcooked that if you were to take it seriously,
Did anyone ever paid attention to this when playing this game? I don't.
you could easily receive unintended signals.
It's really here. We found it for you, Papa Fernando.
But look at it.
What we know is light-hearted passion, here is made to sound more like a disturbed obsession. It's almost creepy, and Rami's euphoria in the immediate wake of life-threatening danger is just too much for it not to make him sound like a nutcase.
Ramiro! Are you okay? Never better! Any landing you walk away from is a good one.
What?
Never better!
Any landing you walk away from is a good one. I'm down next to some kind of attempt to ascend a bit there.
Any
Hard,
landing you walk away from
hard to
is a good
judge,
one.
I don't know.
Do your worst! We are riders on the storm! Riders on the storm! Fear nothing!
But what's truly remarkable is that the dialogue doesn't always manage even to justify its existence. The car-side chatter before and after each event rarely communicates anything that wasn't already known or obvious. No additional stakes or motives are established, no anticipation is built, and despite the consistent lack of a point, you can't skip it. I'd take Need for Speed 2015 over Horizon, in a heartbeat, because it's only
Need for Speed 2015 over this? It's probably on the same level, I would say.
sin was not being good, and Horizon is so much worse than that. Its pursuit of the widest appeal has bleached out everything that a player could find appealing.
Yeah, but I thought, yeah, I agree. I mean, again, the story. I always say the story is the worst part of Horizon. But does it make that game bad? Because it depends on what you focus on in the game.
The alienation is as obvious as it was with the progression. The gain is just as invisible. And when I said any level, I really meant it.
Yeah, exactly. Like, who plays a racing game for the story? Imagine if Trackmania had a story. I probably wouldn't care a thing.
Goes so much further than character and plot. Look at the ways Horizon's sterility conflicts with the very basis of its subject matter. Street racing is road racing, but with traffic, which makes it dangerous and illegal. The official...
And that is very nice, dude. Please don't remove the traffic. That literally makes up for surprise moments in multiplayer, and it's good that it's there.
Horizon checkpoint banners are replaced with red smoke signals, which conflicts with the very basis of its subject matter. Street racing is road racing, but with traffic, which makes it dangerous and illegal. The official Horizon checkpoint banners are replaced with red smoke signals, as if to...
Yeah, and that's also really good because it removes the thing of wall riding and actually makes sure that you're fucking keep sticking to the racing line and not driving around like a fool.
To say there's no on-the-record connection. But, there's an entire festival location named Horizon Street Scene, to which our protagonist invites the born-fast street racing crew. Is it illegal, or isn't it? Horizon can't commit to the answer, and the obvious contradiction is embarrassing alone. But Horizon's doomed half-efforts to officiate street racing also comes at the complete sacrifice of its central appeal. The underground, unofficial vibe. There is no street racing without rebellion.
Of course, Forza Horizon ain't a street racing game. It's not like it's a Need for Speed Underground or something like this. It doesn't even have nitrous. Oh, this guy. I never thought I would heavily disagree with anyone ever like this. Hey, look up the trailer, look up the side of the game, look up the game in general. There's nothing screaming like it's a legal game. A legal street racing scene.
There is no speeding without danger. There is no hoonigan without being a hooligan, which is why Playground's attempts to convince us otherwise always fail.
Hit the fences! Go through the fields! Don't worry, the farmers love lucha de carreteras.
And always draw attention to their insecurity. And it's not the only impossible.
Dude, that is the worst part of the video right now. I must go back to get what he's talking about.
Officiate street racing also comes at the complete sacrifice of its central appeal. The underground, unofficial vibe. There is no street racing without rebellion. There is no speeding without danger. There is no hoonigan without being a hooligan, which is why Playground's attempts to convince us otherwise always fail.
Hit the fences! Go through the fields! Don't worry, the farmers love lucha de carreteras.
Censorship, for instance. The top complaint with Horizon 5's radio, just under being a little too short and a little too garbage, is that the expletives are censored to the point of absurdity, butchering the rhythm and the tone of the song. Soldier is censored, Swallow is censored, so is Battle, Arse, Hurt, and God. They even removed Bathroom Stall. Why? For the sake of a Peggy...
Okay, I never paid attention to that, but that seems to be new in Forza Horizon 5. I didn't see that in Forza Horizon 4. I have to look good for my old friends, and I thought, what looks better than beating? Okay, that is kind of bullshit that they did do that.
3, but it can only amount to further absurdity, because maybe they can protect our ears from the concept of Dua Lipa's ass, but they're never going to stop horny weebs from driving their uwu-mobiles, or the fact that everything we do in this game is obviously and immensely destructive. You haven't won, Playground, because you can't. And no one wants you to. As if for the sake of being thorough,
what is this guy talking
about?
about?
Sterilized the human aesthetics of the actual festival. Gone are the days when the attendees who enjoy Horizon and the lower staff members who work at Horizon took a central aesthetic role, appearing in abundance.
Why does he take this game so seriously? Yeah. Wee. Let's go back.
You can't, and no one wants you to. As if for the sake of being thorough, Horizon 5 has also completely sterilized the human aesthetics of the actual festival. Gone are the days when the attendees who enjoy Horizon and the lower staff members who work at Horizon took a central aesthetic role, appearing in abundance on the tracks and amongst other more central characters. Gone are festival locations that bear the slightest resemblance to somewhere human beings may actually have fun or want to spend time. Gone is the impression that
Yeah, okay, the people are removed. Again, do I need this?
there are other important drivers competing at the festival besides you.
I mean, yeah, it kind of ruins the appearance and the feeling when people are not there.
Gone is the impression that the festival organization is bounded by literally anything. Gone is the capacity of the festival to immerse and to enliven the larger world, because gone is its interest in maintaining the illusion that it is anything more than the narrative device of a video game. And what's left? What remains of
Is he still talking about this? I have no idea, dude. Kinda, he talks about the immersion of the game. Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's hard to relate to that. I don't know. If I would just say, I don't care at all about the people there. If there's people, I'm just playing this game for racing. And maybe I'm the wrong, wrong guy for this game. I don't know if he sees it like that.
Soul. The only identifiable aesthetic is the corporate side of the festival that became most prominent in Horizon 3. Now it's all there is. Marketing. An in-game reflection of the forces that brought us here. Horizon's identity is its corporate interests. Perhaps that's why it didn't raise the alarm that the Hot Wheels story is quite literally a 5-mission long ad read for Hot
You've heard of Don Brodom and Tom McQueen, right? They were famous NHRA drag racers in the 70s who had friendly rivalry.
Wheels. Haley, speaking with a commercial enthusiasm so intense it actually generates gravity, recounts the history of Hot Wheels under the pretense that everything they did was incredible and awesome and ought to make us.
Yeah, isn't that cool? Like, I don't get what the problem is. Like, when I'm driving on a Hot Wheel track, isn't it cool? Like to get more information about it. Like, not everyone is into the Hot Wheels scene, and that's also the thing I kind of liked about Trackmania Turbo. Like when you went to the main menu or had loading screens, then there was random informations about some people flying Dutchman or something like that. I really find that interesting.
Is just as excited as her.
But why stop there? Loops, jump ramps, bank turns, gravity drops, trestle bridges, chicanes, crossovers, lap counters, multi-lane, side-by-side racing launchers. All fully compatible, of course. That's just good engineering. Nowadays, there's even more fun stuff to play with. You've got figure eight, multi-story garages, rubber band kickers, and even giant sharks and dinosaurs that jump on the track. They've even made an auto shop, a working dyno, and a teeny tiny oil can and wrench to tune up your cars. I played with it.
Yeah, okay. If you see it from this perspective, yeah, it's kind of annoying that they're talking while you're driving. I can see that, but again, this is the single player, the career. If you don't want all that, just don't play it. Go multiplayer right away and fuck it.
If they weren't paid for it, which I highly doubt, they should have been. It's the same thing as entering NordVPN land in a Watch Dogs DLC, except here because marketing is Horizon.
Like I can understand these points, but the game is not like a shooter or something. What is heavy focused on single player, on carrier, on that just exists to please those people who liked it, but they never said it's a carrier, it's a single player focused game. None of the games released today are much single player focused because you make the most money and the most income with multiplayer games. So people who still take much focus on the single player are kinda outdated, or at least then they should play games which have a heavy focus on it. That would be like criticizing Fortnite for its single player. I don't even know if it has single player, but let's just take that as example. That's a heavy multiplayer game, and you're criticizing the single player. That's just the same bullshit for me.
Horizon's identity, we seem to find it natural and acceptable. Perhaps that internal corporatization is also
exactly. Single player games mostly have a good story then, but you shouldn't expect a good story on a multiplayer game.
The slow introduction of bloated and pointless looter systems from more popular games seem natural and acceptable, and not completely out of place. Loot boxes are central to progression, moronic emotes and the ridiculous clutter.
No? What? These wheel spins are not beneficial at all to progress. You can do them and you get some extra goodies, but you don't need to do them for getting good cars. Just literally grind a few hours and get yourself a 1 million car, I don't know. And mostly these wheel spins don't even have all cars in them, just some special rare cars.
Of character creation muddy their
Just play
reward
better,
pool.
yeah.
The Destiny
That's literally the whole point of this video. I also made a comment under that, but yeah. I also gonna upload this to YouTube.
This categorization of car rarity, meanwhile, achieves nothing more than introducing the false and harmful psychological impression that rares are inherent.
Hey, let me go back again.
Ridiculous clutter of character creation muddy their reward pool. The Destiny-esque categorization of car rarity, meanwhile, achieves nothing more than introducing the false and harmful psychological impression that rares are inherently better than commons. You know what people think when they receive a common item in a video game? Junk, which will only have a counterproductive effect on the willingness, especially of new players, to use or even trial the cars they own. Do you know what Horizon 5 reminds me of? God, they have both abandoned humanity. The stench of chlorine is inescapable.
Dude, my face while watching this, I wish you could see it. But I decided for no cam.
Playing a game that intentionally resembles an advertisement, which is irritating considered alone, but hits so much harder when you think of what could be, and just how much life, soul, and vibes have meant to racing games of the past. In the long...
Yeah, but those are different times. Back in the days, there was no multiplayer, and the game developers had to focus on single player, obviously. I don't know.
Players will always choose atmosphere over fidelity. Imagine what the visual wizards at Playground could do if they just put down the bleach. Shit games are made tolerable, and good games are made great by their souls. Horizon 5 is a great game made good by its lack of one.
The storms can be bad, but the ancient peoples of this region knew the value of the rain. Oh!
Well, looks like Rami and Homeslice have died. Anyway, Mexico. I don't like it. And no, that's not why they call me White Light. As if this world had any...
Oh, he's complaining about the world.
life left to lose. The servers do so crap a job at populating themselves that the streets feel stone dead whenever you're online. Go offline and the AI drivatars will fill in the blanks. Mexico blooms, and suddenly, you believe this is the biggest festival yet. Horizon 5's is a better world when half its features are unavailable. The map design is another problem. It's the largest yet.
It also annoys me a bit that he doesn't take, that he doesn't compare us the games, like that he doesn't say, okay, I don't like this, but that was better in Horizon 4 or in Horizon 3. He literally doesn't do that at all. It's just a full mesh on the Horizon 5. And yeah, if you don't like Mexico, to be honest, I've heard a lot of people saying Mexico is a lot better than Great Britain in Forza Horizon 4, because Great Britain literally just has fields, just like in IRL, and Mexico has a big variety of landscape, as you can see here. So I don't know why that would be an issue. But also, do you know, I'm just noticing, he just complained about that the roads feel empty. But literally, I don't know, 10 minutes before he complained about that in races there's traffic, which can fuck you up. So do you want empty roads, or do you want traffic, or what do you want?
Life left to lose. The servers do so crap a job at populating themselves that the streets feel stone dead whenever you're online. Go offline and the AI drivatars will fill in the blanks. Mexico blooms, and suddenly, you believe this is the biggest festival yet. Horizon 5's is a better world when half its features are unavailable. The map design is another problem. It's the largest yet. It's the most detailed. It's objectively the most varied, with rainforest, desert, fields, beaches...
Yeah, so why is he complaining about Mexico? Yeah, that's literally the game so far with the most variety.
Canyon, a city, and a volcano.
Variety. Sorry. I had to stumble.
The map design is another problem. It's the largest yet. It's the most detailed. It's objectively the most varied, with rainforest, desert, fields, beaches, a canyon, a city, and a volcano. But it isn't the most varied in
Like a volcano, and this guy is complaining.
practice, because the layout places so much emphasis on the one weakest part of it. The chances you drive through the center of the map on any given journey from A to B are much, much higher than those chances for the sides of the map. It's a mathematical imbalance.
I mean, there's a yes and no. I can understand that he's complaining about, again, that that you can just drive through the whole map and don't have to follow the roads. But I gonna bet you that this guy would be like the first person who would whine about that there's, for example, like invisible walls. Like imagine this game had a lot of invisible walls to prevent you to not go over to not go outside the map. Like here. Imagine there would be an invisible wall and you couldn't go straight right here. A lot of people, and probably also this guy, would complain, look at all the nice landscapes around the races. Why can't I just explore them? Oh my god, look how beautiful it is, and that is an arm stick to the roads. And then that guy is saying, why can't I leave the roads? Not with the same, but you get it.
Journey from A to B are much, much higher than those chances for the sides of the map. It's a
Wait.
mathematics. There's a canyon,
Like,
a city,
look,
and a volcano.
this.
But it isn't the most varied in practice, because the layout places so much emphasis on the one weakest part of it. The
Right here. He's complaining that he can just drive through anything.
chances you drive through the center of the map on any given journey from A to B are much, much higher than those
I bet you this guy would complain if you couldn't do that.
chances for the sides of the map. It's a mathematical imbalance. It has a large effect on many open world games, and it's vital, because Horizon's Mexico seems to have done everything in its power to make it an important problem. The center is bare and dry and massive. It's very dull and very brown, and the volcano helps. But look at the rest
And look at how much you can explore here, and how much different landscapes you have here, compared to Great Britain, which was grass all around. Yo, Jonas, how you doing?
of Mexico. The desert off to the side, the rainforest tucked down below, and the canyon tucked up above. Even Guanajuato is relatively secluded, and the effect of this placement on various
Look, you have the landscapes like the what was Wieste again? The desert. You have the desert. You have the cities. You have the bushes and all this. What does he like in AI? I don't know anymore, Dolan. This
variation
video
is
is so
colossal.
confusing.
By the time those endless plains had
Like, didn't you notice in the script that he is completely yeah, that he let me do that word for a second. Google translate English. That he completely contradicts himself all the time. Like that, it should be noticeable in the script. Oh wait, no, I fucked up now. Okay, no, never mind. All good in the hood. Just my chat went. There it is. Ah, yeah.
begun to bore me to tears. There were still chunks of up above. Even Guanajuato is relatively secluded, and the effect of this placement on variation is colossal. By the time those endless plains had begun to bore me to tears, there were still chunks of Mexico new to me. But this isn't just a matter of maths. The game does itself no favors by placing the largest festival
like literally you can't whine about this game being too small, or I don't know, generally about the map. Like, there's 578 roads, as you just seen. The game is huge. How can you... Oh, yo, Jonas, thank you for your follow. I didn't see that. How you can complain to that? This is one of the biggest map games in racing so far, at least. He wants an RPG racer on race, huge map, but all blocked. Yeah. He complains about the map size, then he complains about that you can't break through everything, and then he complains about that that's a multi-route game.
location where most players gravitate online, in that center, or by placing your first house nearby.
Wait. There's another point.
By the time those endless plains had begun to bore me to tears, there were still chunks of Mexico new to me. But this isn't just a matter of maths. The game does itself no favors by placing the largest festival location where most players gravitate online, in that center.
I don't really understand that point once again. I mean, you have multiple points on the map where you can be, and obviously, yeah, I mean, most people will hang out at the spot where the garages are to change your vehicle and all that stuff, and also because there's an airport where you can check your top speed and all that stuff, and most people do that for their tuning. So yes, you mostly meet the most people at the meeting spot.
Or by placing your first house nearby, where you will always spawn every time you play until you buy another one. Assuming you ever do, the problem will still return in miniature. The idea of purchasing permanent spawn points is dreadful. It guarantees boredom of the closest...
Huh? Why is that an issue if you can spawn wherever you want? I mean, not wherever you want, but yeah. Where does this guy wants to spawn? Like, I literally liked it. I don't want to spawn always. So is he talking right now that these houses are too far away from the main spot, and so he criticizes that he's too far away from the happenings? But then just don't buy the houses. You aren't forced to buy the houses. It just gives an option. If you buy the houses, then you can spawn on multiple places on the map and aren't forced to every time pay a huge amount of money to get somewhere to teleport. Because if you don't have all these signs collected, it costs you something to teleport, and some people don't want to do that, so they buy a house and then have an easier time moving around the map. So I don't see where that is a point to criticize again. Yes, waypoints.
Environment, whilst other parts go forgotten. Mexico makes tragically poor use of itself, and it doesn't have the intensity of Four Seasons to help alleviate its blandness. It's not a bad map, but it is my least favorite so far. So,
The least favorite? Nah. Can't tell me that Forza Horizon 4 wasn't the worst. I mean, it was Great Britain. That was literally grass all the way. You only had grass because if you ever were in Great Britain, there is only grass landscape. There is not much hills, not much mountains, not much anything, and you're here. You are literally in a jungle.
do you still believe I like Forza Horizon 5? Because I do. I really do. It's so
Okay, but he has like 90 points. He doesn't like it, the game.
vivid, and the
I mean, obviously, yes, according to the title, I also wouldn't say that Forza Horizon 5 is not a 10 out of 10, but to what I've listened right here so far, what I've heard from this guy, he gives it like a 3 out of 10 or something like that.
Cars are so fun, and there's so many. It's a damn good.
The cars are also fun, and there are so many, but I don't like when some cars are worse than the others. Please give me a Trackmania where every car is the same. I mean, I can support also that opinion, but not in this game. It's good that the cars behave differently. It's not like an unrealistic game like Trackmania, where you can drive 1,000 kilometers. I don't really know what this guy wants, to be honest. Like, if he would want a game where every car drives the same, then he would be kinda in the competitive aspect, and then I would understand his point, because yes, then he is this kind of driver who wants that skill is the reason you're overtaking people and not a better car. But then he has some points where he's screwing that opinion completely over again, and yeah.
Game. But it's been 5 games now and 10 years, and I'm still longing for the day Forza Horizon meets its potential. Playground are too timid to rework what's weak, and too eager to broaden their audience based on the insights of a spreadsheet. In another 10 years, people will still return to Horizon 2. They'll still return to the other great races longing for their world and thrills, and Forza Horizon 5 will still...
I never return to Horizon 2 again. I would rather return to Horizon 3, I would say. But I won't, because nobody plays it anymore. I can safely bet. But not because Forza Horizon 4 and 5 did so much things wrong. Forza Horizon 5 did for me because they removed the ranked system, which is another point of a clear statement that this game is for plebs and really not for competitive drivers or for people who want the multiplayer experience.
Will be good, but it will not be remembered.
Well, and the ad at the end. Okay, so far, yeah, you heard my opinion about it. Wait, this guy even rated the game. Now that I think about it, now comes the Squarespace ad. Okay, wait. We gotta skip the ads. I wanna hear the final opinion. Can I like rate the game now?
Shade, Shahzaib Arshad
Your title is literally not a 10 out of 10. Now I wanna know what you give this game.
And Voy.
What kind of rating? Don't... Oh my. Wow. Wow. Dude, wow. This guy didn't even rate the game. What do I give? What do I give the game? Hard to say. If they didn't remove ranked, I would give Forza Horizon a 7 out of 10. Maybe 6 out of 10. But because they removed ranked, it's completely unplayable for me, and that's why I stopped. So 3 maybe. And it wouldn't be that bad if they just removed ranked, but they made a statement to this, which I do not support at all. So that frustrated me so much that I completely stopped with this game. Are you ready? I really dislike that. Forza Horizon 5 developers open about a few key things in the game. When Forza Horizon 5 was initially created, the goal that the developers had in mind was to make the game social, friendly, and casual to help enhance the experience of festive racing. Casual. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, but literally, Forza Horizon has a big pro driving scene, the 1%ers and some other time attack hunters, just like Trackmania, or I don't always want to compare it with Trackmania, but you really shouldn't keep out the pros out of some games. That is always stupid. I mean, it's better for the selling, yes, but yeah. And literally, that's the reason why this guy made this video, because he's one of those casuals we don't really want in the game, to be quite honest. Brown also talked about the fact that the internet is a toxic place, and especially so when it comes to competitive games, which is why he wanted to get rid of it. Dude, literally, the only reason the players were toxic there because you couldn't implement a proper ranked system. Like, it was possible to hit other cars in a like, if you just made all the players goes, which other people did later than in custom lobbies, you could select goes there and had like much closer fights, just like in Trackmania. And I'm comparing to Trackmania again. But it's just a way better system when you're actually driving like for money or for other things, when you're driving for competitive aspects, that everyone is a ghost then and you can't hit each other. The only reason that ranked was a toxic place was because you got matched up with people who didn't understand what competitive racing is about. And they literally crashed into your car the second you tried to make a good corner. But that is definitely not the reason you should remove it altogether. My opinion. That they wanted to get rid of it. Brown believes that Forza Horizon 5 has the potential to become a non-toxic place for racing enthusiasts. For racing enthusiasts! While making the game as pleb as possible. Where they can enjoy themselves without any negative feedback. Henceforth, Brown talked about the removal of ranked modes in Forza Horizon 5, which is, to his perspective, seemed to have been promoting a competitive motive that turned a bit toxic for the players. Mike Brown thinks that the ranking system is something that is good, however it has a dark side. The negative feeling of coming second then first is something that Brown doesn't want players to have. Oh my god, that is literally the point we just seen in this video I've talked about right now. And that is literally the reason why I'm saying goodbye to Forza Horizon. Because I don't want to feel like a casual in this game. And playing a game which was made for babies. Which led to the complete removal of it in Forza Horizon 5. Even though Brown is aware of the fact that players did like the ranked league system of Forza Horizon games, the majority of the experience had been on the negative side, as he wanted to eradicate the not good enough mindset of players. I'm not good enough. Let's remove this mode. The fact that Horizon 5 is a racing game, which in itself is competitive. This game and competitive. Let me laugh later. Makes this whole situation seem yeah, exactly. Brown's vision, however, dude, remove this guy literally, was for Forza Horizon 5 to be a friendly place where players can have an enjoyable time by traversing through the scenic beauty of Mexico and have a positive attitude all around. And literally, that is the exact reason why I don't play it anymore. Because it's literally now a game which is made for people who just wanna play it a few times, driving around with cars, and then never play this game again properly. But for people who's sticking to the game, who are playing multiplayer, and I hate this decision so much, and probably that's why it won't be a thing in Forza Horizon 6 again, and that's why I will never take a step into it again. However, one thing that made a return from Forza Horizon 4 was the Eliminator, the Battle Royale, yeah, because it sells very well, which was quite loved and played among the Forza Horizon fans. Yeah, because it has not much to do with skill. I mean, yes, kinda knowing the map and then just drive in the right direction, that is kind of skill you need to get. Because of the game mode's popularity in the last franchise, Playground Games made the decision to keep it in Forza Horizon 5. It suited In conclusion, Forza Horizon 5 is suited to become a casual and fun racing game. However, it did have to make a certain compromises in order to succeed. Right here. That pisses me off even more. That is the reason I don't play it at all anymore, because like you can see they care now about casuals, and I always had the hopes that maybe someday they would address the cheater issue. But now that they completely confirmed that this game is for plebs, they don't care at all about any score systems anymore, any world records, anything. I knew at that point I realized that the game won't improve in these kind of things. Literally, in any game you would be so massively banned for cheating. In Forza, it's since Forza Horizon 1 the thing that the whole leaderboards are so fucked. Just look at this ghost right there. Yeah, there's no point to hunt for a world record if players do this. And don't even get punished. You can report them then, but nothing happens. Literally nothing happens. They just don't care. They want plebs to drive around and watch at the beauty of Mexico, and that's it. That's why they do in this game.